Now, for each of the target rewards that I can come up with, I'm going to find the set of portfolio weights that's going to minimize the risk. Okay. For this, you're going to need solvers on your computer. If you've done this before on your computer, you don't have to do it again. But for computers here, uh, go to options, click add-ins, Excel add-ins, go. Make sure the solver is checked. It's slightly different on Macs. So under data tab, you should have solvers at the very end. If all of you guys have it, I'm going to continue. So let me know if you don't have it. Anybody who doesn't have it? And you've done this, you're going to do this for your own computer once, but these go back to their original state every time you log off. So you have to do it again on these computers. Are we all ready to have solvers? Assuming that you actually want to follow what I'm doing. If you don't, that's your business. But when you do homework assignments for this, you're going to need that solver. So you make sure that you have it. And here's how we're going to do it. Under the data tab, go to solvers. It says, what's your objective? My objective is the risk. Okay. What do you want to do to that risk? I want to minimize it. What am I free to vary around? I'm free to vary around these weights. Remember, the last weight is determined automatically. I'm not restricting it to have non-negative weights. I'm going to allow it to have negative weights as well, which means you can short them. And are there any constraints? I do. Whatever set of weights I pick, I want each of those portfolios to have a reward of 0.10%, okay? Which means I need this one to be zero, the difference. So I'm going to add a constraint. I'm going to say this difference is equal to zero. Then I'm going to ask Excel, find me, there are infinitely many portfolios that will have a reward of 0.10%. But among those, I want to pick the one that has the least risk. And all I have to do is hit solve. Find the solution. This basically says this portfolio will have a yield of 0.10% or a reward of 0.10%, and its risk is only 115. As you can see, that risk is also lower than any one of these. For example, looking at here, what happened to my, looking at here, if you had a portfolio that was invested only in LQD, which is corporate bonds, is that portfolio efficient or inefficient? Or is it inefficient? Efficient means it is not inefficient. That's a different definition. It says you can't find any portfolio that dominates both in reward and return. Can you say that LQD, a portfolio that consists 100% in LQD, can you say that it is efficient or inefficient? What's the yield on LQD or reward? 8 basis points, right? But this specific portfolio that has 13.72% in SPY, 81% on LQD, and about 5%, or vice versa, 5% in SPY, 1372 in gold. That portfolio has a higher return, 0.10, also lower risk. That means rational people should never hold a portfolio that is 100% LQD, assuming future is going to look like the past, because we get the expected numbers using the past data. Even though these guys have higher risk, they also have higher returns. So you can find a set of weights that's going to dominate this individual portfolio. What we're going to do for each of those possible target rewards, we're going to find the minimum risk achievable. So I'm going to do a chart over here. I'm going to say risk on the horizontal axis and reward. For 0.10, copy, face value. The minimum achievable risk is 115. Okay. Now let's do something for 5 basis points. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. Nice thing about solver in this setting, you don't have to change anything anymore. Data, solver, I already know that I want to minimize risk by the same set of constraints. Just hit solve. So let me make all of these same type of format. Okay. Now let me ask this question. Let's call this portfolio A and portfolio B. Can I say anything about whether or not portfolio B is efficient or not, or inefficient or not? Can I make a statement? Yes. And what is it? Is it inefficient or not? It's inefficient. And what makes you think it's inefficient? Exactly. I mean, it's not complicated. A portfolio is inefficient if you can find another portfolio that has higher reward and lower risk. In this case, we can. Okay. Let's try another one. Target reward 0. We're going to do the same thing. Data, solver, solve, copy. Obviously, portfolio C is also inefficient. Okay. For other purposes, I'm going to actually sort these things. Data, sort, where are you, sorts? I have headers. I want to sort them by reward, smallest to largest. Now let's kind of add stuff by 5 basis points each time. if I want portfolios that makes 15 basis points a week, I should be willing to take a risk of 136. Okay. Now, in this case, let's call this portfolio D. I can't say that portfolio D is inefficient, at least given what I have here. Because if I go lower, the rewards, I'm going to have lower risk. Okay. I am sure there is something in between. Actually, let's do 12. I just want to see where things turn.